Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Eagle Vision Basketball. I'm Chad Hearn, along with Austin Wader, Sam Jansky, Connor Hudgens. We are joined by the coaches of the Eagles, Lady Eagles coach Jeremy Simon, and new boys Eagles coach, Coach Russ Pennel. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here tonight for just a kind of a preseason look at the upcoming 24-25 season. We are just excited to talk about basketball. It seems like yesterday and forever ago. Getting done at the in March at the state championship game, guys. Exciting to talk about basketball again.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Obviously, many new changes. Obviously, a lot coming back for the girls. Brand new coach for the boys. There's a lot that's going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Ditto on that. It's going to be a great year. Great year.
All right. Always great to get some insight from Sam. So we'll talk real quick about the boys coming off of a 22-8, a great season, 12-3 in conference. Number 1 in 5A Central last year. Heartbreaking loss to Lake Hamilton's second round. Not going to talk about it much more than that because I don't really want to think about it, and I don't think anyone else in Vilonia wants to think about it.
Sounds good.
We're excited. We're still in 5A Central. There's been a lot of changes for both Lady Eagles and Eagles on the 5A Central schedule. We've got the boys side, Greenbrier and Little Rock Christian, now in 5A Central. So I'm excited about Little Rock Central nights. Now we've got boys and girls that will have games that night, so that's exciting. And then an opportunity for maybe some payback at the Lake Hamilton Classic coming up in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, the Eagles' first action will be on November the 12th at Lakeside with a matchup out of the 5A South. So we'll get to that as well. Now for the Lady Eagles, coming off 26-7, 16-1 in conference, and the one really is the state championship game against Greenwood. I don't really want to talk about that much either. It was Greenwood was out of their minds that day, and it was something else to see and be there. But 0-2. But hey, this is the year. Third time's a charm, Coach. First official action will be against Springdale Harbor at the Mulhern Wilson Constructors Lady Cat Invitational Tournament. That is a mouthful, but that'll be basically the Conway Tournament coming up here on November the 14th. And they've got Greenbrier 5A Central, new to 5A overall. Farmington now in the 5A West, coming up out of 4A. Could see them maybe in the tournament. So with that, we can talk about our sponsors. Connor, if you want to run that commercial, we want to highlight our great sponsors for the 24-25 season. Our diamond sponsors, a big thank you to Centennial Bank, as always, coming back for us as a diamond sponsor. Santa Cecilia Granite, our new diamond sponsor as well. Big thank you to them. For platinum sponsors, we've got Collier Roofing, a new sponsor. Appreciate them. D&N Construction, HSA Engineering, Lane Family Dentistry, Linda Marie's, Sims Electric, Vilonia Realty, and Z&E Trucking. Gold sponsors, Daniel Hudgens, J.C. Thornton & Company, Flying Sea Ranch, Gray Lane, Lawrence Family Hardware, Money Electric, Rideout Lumber, Simon Roofing, and El Rancho. Appreciate those gold sponsors. And last but not least, our silver sponsors, Bill Jones Realty, Harps, Hometown Fresh, Sue Shock Insurance, Sweet House Donuts, The Ivy, Vilonia Chiropractic, and Vilonia Family Pharmacy. A huge thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors for the 24-25 Vilonia Eagle basketball season. Okay, now that we got all the housekeeping done, we can actually talk to the coaches. Coach Pennel, welcome. We're so excited to have you. With your experience that you've had, your initial thoughts on the Vilonia Eagle program, maybe some of the differences you've come from college and professional and now your first high school gig.
Yeah, it's been refreshing. It's been a lot of fun. And, I was telling the parents a little while ago that some of my college buddies call me, and I think they want me to say how bad I hate it and wish I was back with them. And as they're struggling with their transfer portal and NIL money, I've got a group of kids here who just are excited about playing basketball.
Yeah.
That's been refreshing. That's been a lot of fun. We know what was done last year was a great season, and we hope we can duplicate. It's always difficult to repeat or to follow up good years with another good one. But as Coach Simon is doing, he's got tradition now. He's got a culture, and I think what was done last year has kind of set the bar high. I can tell in our practices the guys are really motivated to get back to that level, and you get some new guys that have to step in and assume new roles through all of that, and we've got a long way to go, but I like I just like the mentality and the effort the guys are putting forth at this time.
All right, very good. Sam?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. Coach, you talk about how basketball is no different coaching high school versus college. How much are you taking out of your college coaching, like when you coached at UCA or Rice or even Arizona? Is much of that implemented into this offense here?
Yeah, quite a bit, honestly. I think basketball, as far as the way it's played, the fundamentals of it, the execution and all that stuff, it's the same. Because the competition's all relevant. Now, if you were asking us to play in the NBA East and we're going against the Celtics and 76ers, it might be a different deal. But we're running a lot of the same concepts. These guys can handle that. The main difference is just the physicality at the high school level from the college level. But as far as retaining and being able to execute, I don't see a whole lot of difference. A lot of that is attributed to, I think, though, to the culture of Vilonia. I think the Pee Wee League that they play in at an early age really helps with the basketball IQ. So you've got kids that they've got a lot of playing experience by the time they get to me, and I've really reaped kind of, I think, the benefits of that. I've noticed we haven't had to go over a lot of things with this group that you might in a first year setting, which I've done several times.
Yeah, I know you talked about in media days. They asked you the question about your team and how this group has been together. Maybe that's another question later on, Chad. But this group of guys that are seniors have been playing together since third grade and a lot of summer ball. So they know each other so well. So I think that's always an advantage to have that versus a team that's constantly changing or new guys coming in, guys leaving the program.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's no substitute for a group that's been together. We see that all the time in the Olympics, right? The United States team struggles sometimes because they don't play together, a lot. Like a lot of the other teams around the world have grown up playing together, and it always takes us a little bit of time. And fortunately, we got the greatest players on the planet, and that usually wins out. But it's certainly a struggle sometimes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get into the first question with Coach Simon. First
Yeah.
of all, good to see you, Coach.
Yeah, good to see you.
I've seen you. I've lost track how many years we've seen each other
Oh
here.
man, it's been I guess about 6 years now.
Yeah, but talking about Chad mentioned it, and I won't try to bring up as much. State championship game,
Yeah.
second year in a row. How have you kind of used what occurred in that state championship to build during this offseason?
Yeah, so just to go back to that, yeah, it was a tough loss last year, and the players were disappointed, and but they gave us everything they had last year. I mean, they played their hearts out. So that's all we can ask for from our players, and you got to tip your hat to Greenwood. I don't think anybody in the state of Arkansas would have beat them that night in Hot Springs. And you know, I look back at all the positive things that happened last year. Our girls competed hard in a tough non-conference schedule, and went into conference and won the conference at 16-0, and brought that to the state tournament and just ran through a gauntlet of teams from Nettleton to Mountain Home to Greene County Tech, and any one of those threes could have taken our spot in the finals had we not beat them. I mean, all three of those teams were legit state contenders, and to get a first round with Nettleton, that's just tough. But I look back at our non-conference schedule, our tournaments that we went to, like Conway, and you know, our tournament here, and especially the tournament in Duncanville. Those tournaments really prepared us for that state tournament run, and the girls just played amazing last year in the tournament in Searcy. And so I look back at that, and it was such a positive to be in that state championship game. I mean, it's a win in itself just to make it and to play on that stage and get your players that experience. And I keep telling my team, if we can keep giving ourselves chances, we're going to break through at some point. And how did it guide our off season? Just keep doing what we're doing, keep grinding, keep pushing each other, and just trying to get better every day.
Absolutely. And we talked about that non-conference schedule, that Conway tournament. The teams in that tournament were really great, and that really proved it in that non-conference schedule.
Yes, absolutely. And we got it again this year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. But that's what we want. We don't care what our record is going into conference. Right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your record is going into state, you know, as long as you make it. But, you know, we're going to try to win those non-conference games. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not worried about what my record is. It's about how much better we get as a team as time goes on.
Yeah, in that Conway tournament, you've got Springdale Harbor. You've probably got Nashville, maybe in the second round, and probably Conway at the end of that. And that's almost identical to last year.
Yeah.
We started with Nashville.
Yeah, started with
Nashville. Then we had Fayetteville.
That's right.
Second round.
And then Conway.
Yeah.
And Harbor's going to be a good
Harbor's
team.
going to be loaded.
I mean, that's somebody that's going to compete with Conway.
Oh, we got a tough draw right off the bat. Everybody's good down there.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get easy draws any way you look at it, but we got a tough draw for sure. And that's which, you know, you'd like to start off your season maybe an easy one, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So and you've got a scrimmage, I guess, with Lake Hamilton.
Yeah,
Is that
so
happening?
I
November
thought
9th?
it'd probably be a good idea to get something before the season started this year. You know, we won 2 big games at Conway, but I thought we were a little sloppy. We need to get something to get our feet wet before we go down there to Conway. So Lake Hamilton's coming up here for a benefit game on Saturday. I think it's the 9th.
November 9th, yes.
We're going to start at 1. Probably let varsity play about a half and then let the JV play second half. So that's just something for us to get together and, you know, prepare, you know, for a game and go out there and play before we actually get into a real game.
Yep. So we've got the red-white game. We'll talk about that more later. Red-white game on November 7th. That's a Thursday. Friday night football against Greenbrier at home. And then that Saturday, November 9th.
Yep.
Come out 1 o'clock, watch the Lady Eagles in a benefit game against Lake Hamilton. That will be interesting to see. Just get to see them on the court for the first time.
And great 3-day stretch there for Vilonia.
Yeah.
How about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach Pennel, so a little bit different starting lineup than the Vilonia fans are used to coming off of last year. You've got some different starters, a starter or two from last year. Who do you see early on here making a major impact for the Eagles this year?
You know, I honestly think that we have, 6, 7 guys that could start. But, I think our four of our seniors are kind of emerging as guys that I think will will step up. Lane, Harrison, Brody, and Cade have kind of been our most consistent guys in practice. The fifth spot's still a little bit up in the air.
That's good, because I've got 4 highlighted. I'm hoping you talk about that.
And I guess it depends on which day you ask me. But I've been real pleased with Judd and John have both played very well. And my thought on them is it gets us some size if one of them can come along. And it also keeps Lane from having to guard inside, where a lot of fouls are picked up in high school basketball. So if I can keep him away from foul trouble and those other two can kind of man that spot, gives us a little flexibility. But the thing I really like is we got some kids that come off the bench that are kind of tweeners. I think that got pretty good size. They're guards, but they're also physical and big enough they can rebound. And it changes kind of the complexity. So instead of having your traditional 2 bigs, you're playing more like 4 guards and one big. And as we know, Lane is he's kind of a hybrid because I've really been excited about. Sometimes he gets the ball off the glass, he doesn't even outlet, he just takes off, and that's what I want him to do. So there's a lot of flexibility. So I think we can match up with teams pretty well. And again, I've alluded to a couple times tonight, whether it was with the parents or here, that I've got a lot of confidence in 9 or 10 of them if we have to go that far down.
All right, good depth there. So I've got Sutterfield and Boyd both at 6'2". Now, granted, that's based on last year.
Yeah, I think they're bigger than that. Honestly, I think they're both at least 6'3".
Okay.
Both jump really well. That's the thing. And Jonathan's a little more physical than Judd. Judd's a little bit better outside shooter, but they're both pretty good defenders. And they've really assumed their role. That's one thing I've really tried to do with our entire team. Really role declarate, so guys know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, what it's going to take for them to get on the floor, how they're going to help us. Don't get out of character. Try to stay, in your lane and just play to your strengths. And so far, guys have embraced that, and I think it's going to bode well for us.
And a pretty good crop of sophomores. Some
Yeah,
good size. Don't want to call anyone out, but you got some good size there. Heard some good things.
I love our sophomore class, and I love our 9th grade class. We have 2 really back-to-back classes that I think that we ought to be excited about. I think the future's pretty bright for this program.
Awesome.
Nothing on that, but I'll go to the next question for Coach Simon.
That's how it works.
So, Coach Simon, obviously tough to replace Lexi. I mean, she was such a leader, in your part of your locker room and also on the court. Of course, she struggled with those back spasms in the state champ finals
2 years ago.
2 years ago. But how do you, what are you excited about bringing back all the others? And I mean, obviously you lose one, but you just reload every year.
Yeah, so first off, Lexi, going to be very difficult to replace her. And I don't know if we have somebody that can do some of the things that she can do. I think we're just a little bit different team. Lexi's just defensively, she's so fast. She covered so much ground, had a real big, smart. I mean, she's just smart, had a high basketball IQ. Her help side defense was got to be one of the best I've ever coached. And we're working on it right now. But we're going to be a little bit different team. I don't think we're going to be as fast as we were last year with her, but we may play more of a half-court game. We're still going to push the ball as much as we did last year, but it may not be as much. We may not be able to full-court pressure as much as we did last year. It's awesome to have the returners that we have. We have 4 returning starters. We got 2 or 3 more that played quite a bit of important minutes for us last year. We are still a young team. I tell people we're a young team, but we're also pretty experienced with what we got. We got a point guard who's, started for 4 years for us with Sydney. Maddie's going to be a 3-year starter, and then Brooklyn and Brianna both started last year, and Kim came off the bench a lot for us last year. What's unique about that is all 5 of those girls were moved up as 9th graders to play in high school basketball. So that's pretty unique. I don't know, how many schools have ever had that before where your starting 5 were all moved up as 9th graders. So it's going to be awesome to have that experience out there. And the chemistry, we got to get it back. I just got the girls back into practice last week together. We got to find that chemistry that we had last year, especially down the stretch. we got to get that back, but I'm confident in the next couple of weeks we'll find it. But yeah, and we've got some girls that have come off the bench, like Haven, and I think she's had a great off season. Katie Simons had a great off season, and so we got a team that I think's ready to compete with just about anybody.
Yeah, I really think so, and I'll add something to that, Sam. You mentioned it with the Burnham twins, some sophomores getting some great action, and how do you see some of the freshmen and sophomores that we'll see move up this year get action along with some of those big returnees as well?
Well, they're going to have to play. I mean, that's all there is to it. They're going to have to play. They're going to have to be ready, and so we're going to have to rely on them to come in games and to play their role. And I told them today, you don't have to come off the bench and think you've got to go score 6 or 7 points right off the bat. Just play your role. When we drive and your man helps and we kick it out to you, be ready to take that shot. Don't try to go in and force something, because that's going to get you taken out real quick. Go in and play a role, and these girls can do it. We can sub out 2 or 3 and be fine.
Yeah, because you've got scores. I mean, we've seen that. And you've also got some size. Alex Duff looks like she's coming along there as a junior now. You've got Kim Henry. The development of Kim Henry from when she started last year. And, of course, the opportunities that she got to get out there, took full advantage. To see her develop, it's really been something. Yes,
and we just got both of them back in the gym last week. So I think it's going to take a little bit to get them back to where they were. But when we get them back, they're going to be awesome.
So, obviously, Sydney's going to sign with UT Martin, and you've got others garnering some attention. Like the Burnhams have gotten offers from Harding. Kim got an offer from Lyon. I'm sure Maddie's getting lots of looks. How do you balance that when there's coaches in the gym and they all want to look good? But how do you balance that?
Well, they're also unselfish.
Yeah.
They don't care if they scored 25 or 2. All they want to do is win.
Yeah.
And if they're playing hard on the court and playing together, that's all the coaches want to see.
Yeah.
They no matter if they score 30 or 15 or 5. Those coaches are wanting to see them hard. They want to see them what happens when they make a mistake. They want to see how they react. They want to see how they react when they're down. Those are the things they're looking for. And as long as they do everything like that right, they're going to get offers, and they're coming. I'm actually a little surprised they haven't got more than what they've got, because these girls can play.
Yeah.
And hopefully we see some more offers coming this year. But the kids are so unselfish. They play together. There's chemistry there. They want to win, and that's what's most important to them.
All right, we are at the halfway point. We're going to take a quick timeout here, highlight some of our 24-25 sponsors, and come right back and talk more about the upcoming 24-25 season. We'll be right back after these messages.
Have you tried a CPAP and couldn't tolerate it? Or were you told that you were not a candidate for a surgically placed device to treat sleep apnea? At Lane Family Dentistry, we provide a simple solution, an oral appliance that you wear while you sleep and can be delivered in as little as 2 visits. Please don't let your sleep apnea go untreated, because research says it's worse on your heart than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and could take up to 12 years off your life. We accept most medical insurance and file the claim for you. Call Lane Family Dentistry to get treated for sleep apnea.
HSA Engineering proudly supports the Eagle student athletes. We would like to encourage all students to explore the STEM field, especially engineering, when considering a future career. Science, technology, mathematics, and even robotics are what make up the foundation of engineering, and engineering starts with education.
All right, and we are back here. Eagle Vision Basketball preseason coaches show. Excited to talk about the 24-25 season. We've got some new faces on head coach side. We've also got some new personnel for assistant coaches. Coach Simon, you've got Coach Jim Prouse.
Yeah.
Talk about him a little bit, where he's coming from.
Yeah, so Coach Prouse come to us from Cabot, and he's been a head coach also at some – well, he was at Cabot Junior High, but he's been a head coach of some varsity boys teams at smaller schools before. But, you know, he's from Mount Vernon, so he's real close to home, so we're happy to have him. He's got a lot of energy. You know, when he came, I kind of told him, hey, I want you to take over the weight room. And he's done an amazing job with that. The girls are a lot stronger now. He's had them on boxes jumping, and their verticals have all gone up. Awesome. So he's done an amazing job with them, and he's vocal in practice. He's loud, and the kids are really getting along with him. So
is he letting them use the weights some? I've seen him. He's jacked.
I'm going to say, if he's leading that effort and they're going to look like that,
oh, absolutely.
You're gonna have some
well, that was kind of the reason why I said, hey, I
Clearly
think
he
you're pretty
knows what he's doing.
experienced in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weight room, so
It looks like he worked
I'm going
out a
to let
little
you
bit.
have that. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, he's done an amazing job for us so far.
Awesome. And then on the Eagles side, we've got we've got Mason Bureau that's been here, but just how's that going so far? And you've got Madison Leach coming on as well, maybe a little help there.
Yeah, Coach B has done a good job. He's our 7th grade coach, and then helps up with the varsity, and he'll be kind of overseeing the junior varsity squad. Been good to be around him. He did a really nice job of kind of holding things together in between the coaching search, and the kids really like him, and he's just now getting to us because he's also the tennis coach. So
Okay.
we've had him now a couple weeks, and he's going to do a nice job for us. Madison Leach is our 8th and 9th grade coach. He's a former head coach at Ball Knob.
Okay.
Another guy from Mount Vernon. In fact, he and Coach Prouse, I think, grew up
they're
together
good buddies.
and good
Oh,
buddies,
that's
and
fun.
so that's kind of been a neat deal. And if you want to hear great stories about Mount Vernon, just sit and listen to them because they'll tell them to you. I'm not sure about that.
Hey, I will have to say, I did coach against Madison in Pee Wee when he had Wesley Booker and I had Harrison Jansky. That was a big rivalry.
Okay,
back in
big
the day.
rivalry back in the day.
Wesley's now in his 5th year at Harding.
I think
but,
this is
Yeah.
probably
There
how
you go.
those stories go.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
He
droning
said,
on.
"You look familiar." I said, "Pee Wee basketball we coached." He goes, "Yeah, we beat y'all that year and went on and,
Yeah.
and lost them out Mayflower."
You
So
never
anyway.
forget those critical games.
Never
in
miss
Pee Wee.
them. Never forget 'em.
Exactly. But Madison does a nice job. I've enjoyed getting to know him. He and I actually share an office, and so we've got kind of a little bit of a history. He actually was a manager for Corliss Williamson at UCA prior to me going to UCA. So
Okay.
I'm excited about those two young guys. They bring a lot of energy to what we're doing, and we're thrilled. They're good with our guys.
Awesome. Sam?
No, I that's all I had was the Pee Wee. I just wanted to
Pee Wee.
reminisce on the Pee Wee years. You know, he beat me, so he's 1-0 against me. So
All right. So
we have to have a rematch, alumni. Okay, yeah.
there you go.
Next question. Where are we at? All right, let's talk about some big games. You kind
not-
of
it's
alluded.
not a hard
you
concept.
kind of
Segue,
alluded.
good segue.
Kind of squirrel.
Y'all need to play one-on-one at the Red White game.
Exactly.
That'd be fun.
All right.
I'm for that.
Well, I have to put some knee braces on. All right, non-conference games. Obviously, you've stacked it up, Coach. Simon, you play in Texas. You've got the Conway tournament, but just kind of talk to some of the games you're looking forward to.
Well,
in the conference and non-conference.
non-conference
Yep.
or
Conference.
Yeah,
Let's start with conference.
Okay, conference.
okay. Well, conference. Obviously, every one of them's big.
Yeah.
To talk about our conference as a whole, I think everybody's going to be better this year. It's going to be a lot tougher for us, game in and game out. I think Little Rock Christian's going to be better. I think BB's going to be better. We're getting Greenbrier in. They're moving into our conference, and that's always a tough rivalry game. Doesn't matter who's better. It matters who shows up and play and who can make plays. It's always a close game between us and Greenbrier. So them coming to our conference is going to make it tougher. And then you got Parkview is always a tough matchup. They're always scrappy. We played Jacksonville this summer. They're a whole lot better. I bet they had 30 kids on
Wow.
the team. I mean, he's got a lot of new ones. And they competed. And then you got Maumelle, Sylvan Hills, and Mount St. Mary. And I just think everybody's going to be a lot better. And it's going to be a lot tougher, which is what we want. We want it to be tough. We want our players tested, throughout the year. So we're excited about it.
Coach Pennel, your thoughts on the conference schedule with it being kind of new to you?
Yeah, but I think you got to start with Little Rock Christian. You know, back-to-back state championships, bumping up to 5A and 5A Central, and you know, when you have a state champion in your league, or you know, I've been in leagues that had national champions in the league. It's the standard, and it's usually those teams don't come to you. You got to go to them, and I don't expect them to be worse this year. Let's put it that way. And so what we have to do is use that as you know, kind of fuel that we know what you know, we need to do. I've spent more time studying the kind of style of play than I have really teams. You know, and when you play the Little Rock schools, you're going to get a lot of pressure, a lot of pressing, a lot of that stuff. And I think for us, it comes down to having a good year against those teams. Can we handle the ball, not turn it over, not beat ourselves? The guys they laugh at me all the time, but you know, I work for a guy named Eddie Sutton that he used to always harp to the team, don't beat yourself. Just don't make those mistakes that beat yourself. Risky plays, lack of fundamentals, those type of things. And I think against pressure, the worst thing you can ever do is dribble the ball. You got to cut, move, and pass. And so when I look at the league and know the history of a Parkview, the Jacksonville, you know, those type of teams, in the state champ of Little Rock Christian, and then, you know, Greenbrier's had great teams. When I was at UCA, they had great teams, and in fact, I had one of their players on my team. So there's no easy games, and I think that for us, it's just trying to prepare our team the best we can, and make sure that we are playing the best basketball on that given night, and that's partly or largely falls on me to have them prepared for that.
All right, so we enter conference play on December 20th, a little bit, maybe a week later than last year. So that feels a little better. You got a little bit more time. Sylvan Hills at home, and then we come back after the holiday break, and we'll have Mount St. Mary Catholic here on the 7th, and then at Little Rock Central January 10th. So pretty early on in the conference schedule, going to Little Rock Christian, Little Rock Christian, to play both of those. That'll be quite an environment that night.
Yeah.
Gives you a couple games in conference. It's not beefed up when you're out the get-go, where you're playing Christian or Maumelle right out of the gate, right? I mean, you get some time to build some confidence and hopefully have a good mark as you go into those tougher games.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we'll kind of go backwards, courtesy of Sam. We'll go to non-conference,
there you
talking about some of that. But as y'all know, I mean, non-conference, you talked about, Coach Simon, just getting y'all ready for that conference schedule. Just for both of y'all, what are some non-conference games y'all are looking forward to playing this year? And I guess I'll start with you, Coach Simon.
I'm looking forward to all of them. I'm looking forward to all three tournaments that we play in. They're all going to be tough. Our non-conference games we got Marion here, and I don't have dates right in front of me. Yep. We're going to Little Rock Central, and they came to our place last year.
Great night. Yep.
Yeah, and it was rough. So we're going to hopefully go down there and be ready to play more than we were ready to play here last year. We're going to go to West Memphis, and we're going to go back down to Nashville this year. So all four games will be very tough on us, and but that's what we want. The tournaments are going to be tough. They're going to be fun. We're excited about them. We're excited about going back to Duncanville this year.
Yeah, you had a lot of home games last year. A lot of folks coming to us this year.
We've
flipped.
got three out of the fours on the road.
12 home nights all season, I think, is what I counted.
Well, and if you look at the conference schedule, there's only one Friday night home game in January and February.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
And that's just how it worked out with them doing I don't know what you call it, but they seeded all the teams in conference and predetermined the schedule for us, and this was kind of what we were given, and we tried to switch some things around, and other schools wouldn't switch with us. So it is what it is. Now next year, every Friday night we'll be at home, so hopefully, but it is what it is. We'll do whatever we got to do, but that's what it is for now.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are too.
Definitely. And Coach Pennel, for you, obviously non-conference, what are you looking forward to about it?
Well, I inherited the schedule, which is fine, but the first 2 weeks we're in Hot Springs. I wish I had a timeshare. I wouldn't even come back here.
Yeah, we want to stay
down
too.
there. Yeah, just bring the team down. I'll be waiting on them. But I think, for me, the first game I'm looking forward to, and not because it's Lakeside, but because it's the first game.
Yeah.
My biggest question personally is I just don't know the level of competition. I mean, I know it from watching it, but how are we stacked up until, honestly, that first quarter? I want to see us run up and down the court 2 or 3 times to really have a good feel. I believe we're going to be fine, but I have no reference point. So I'm looking forward to that game, and then certainly we're tested. I mean, we're playing Lake Hamilton, which I know was a sore spot for the guys, and we'll play them down at their tournament, which I think will be a big game. And then, of course, the V-Town. There's some really good teams on the guys' side in the V-Town this year. In fact, we're playing Clinton in the first game, and they're supposed to be really good this year. So, those games are challenging games, and much like Coach Simons just said, it's a test that you need to see before you hit conference. It didn't matter, if you have a inflated record that wasn't really challenged, then it's kind of fool's gold when you're going into those really good games. So I'm just excited to get going, and we've practiced a long time. It's interesting because in high school you have so much more time to practice in college. Because in college they give you it's 42 days, 30 practices in 42 days that you actually get to practice. Well, I was telling a guy I worked with at Rice, he's out at Sacramento State now. I said, I had my 30 practices in before September 30th, and he was laughing about that. He said, man, that'd be nice to have. I said, yeah, but you just kind of run out of things to do sometimes. So, but we're ready to play, and it'll be a lot of fun.
You played. I think this year Hot Springs Lakeside on the boys' side is going to be one of the top teams in the South because Pine Bluff loses 10 seniors. Hamilton loses quite a bit, though Coach Pennington says he's got 5 guards he's going to start that all shoot 40%. So you're going to get to see if you defend the 3 really well right off the get-go. But that's some 2 really good competitions that they're out of the Hot Springs area to start the year. So, and that game in the summer league that we played them in, that went to it was a shot at the buzzer that determined the game. So.
That's right. I believe you know the guy who made the shot, don't you?
Yes, I do.
That's what I
think might be
kind of familiar with him, Sam?
So self-serving, Sam. Goodness gracious.
It was a good.
Subtle.
I think that'll be a great matchup though to start
Subtle.
the season. I think there's a lot of they match up good with each other. So.
Absolutely.
All right, we're running kind of long here, so real quick. I know we kind of talked about this in the break just to see, but any rule changes we talked about? I think there's maybe one rule change this year that might alter some strategies, or anything to say about that?
Yeah. So there's no more 5-second count in a half court. So now with a shot clock, they're just going to let the shot clock do it for you. So, I don't know all the specifics about it. Do you have to be dribbling? We need to look that up and figure that out. But I know, there is no 5-second count, at least on the dribble.
Okay.
How will that affect our strategy? I don't know if it will at all. I think if Brianna Burnham's dribbling around, I think I can just tell her to run circles with the ball, and they can chase her.
Good luck.
But that may be the only strategy.
Yeah. And then
nowadays you can't hold it anyway for very long. There's a shot clock, which I like. It's a great rule. So other than that, that's the only rule change I know of.
Yeah, 35-second shot clock, and then last year we got rid of the 1-and-1, right? That was the only.
Yeah, I think
big
it was.
No more 1-and-1.
So you got 2 free throws.
2 free throws. You got to be careful. You really got to be careful. You don't want to be putting the people at the free throw line real early.
Yeah. So that one was a pretty significant change.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's get into this real quick. We've got I think Sam's got some picks.
Oh,
Connor, you want to throw that up?
I thought we were not going to talk about that.
No,
All
we're
right.
definitely going to talk about it because we've got some. We need some locker room.
Hey, I
motivation
was
here.
told, this is not Eagle Vision picks, people. So I was told, hey, this
Sam
is
Jansky picks.
This
Let
is
us know.
this is
Sammy.
Slim Sammy's locker room motivation.
All right,
okay?
start with the girls.
All right, so we'll start with the girls. Last year I did this. I went 50-50. I was right on the girls. I was off by 1 on the boys. So we'll see how it goes this year. So yeah, on the
Math
girls'
don't
side.
math, but
yeah.
all right.
Anyway, yeah, I went to Vilonia. You know, math was not good back then, and we got some great teachers now. Okay, so number one, I've got Christian. I got sorry, you got the boys. Okay, I got Vilonia, obviously.
You can
Coach,
say that, and I'll put it in my
sorry,
locker room.
yeah, sorry, Little Rock Christian.
You heard it here first.
you know,
Sam's got Vilonia too. No,
Coach
go.
Simon's got a target on his back, and well deserved. So I've got the Eagles at 1. Christian just right behind him, and then it got a little weird for me, and I had to talk to Coach because I wasn't for sure. But I got Greenbrier coming to the league. I think they are going to be pretty good. You said they had a 9th grader coming up that's going to be pretty good, and then after that, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Probably should have moved BB up to 3 or 4 because, like you said, they're much improved with some transfers, I hear, as well. It's going to help them out, Coach.
I had nothing to do with those rankings, so I just want everybody to know that.
This is my
That-
rankings.
that's all his.
All Sam. All Sam.
But wait, it gets better.
Yeah,
That's
Parkview,
not even
BB,
controversial.
Yeah.
Sylvan Hills,
Hang on.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean the last. Who knows? So
Yeah,
all right.
Mount
So
St.
now,
Mary's and
now let's get
the
to
Hornets.
get to the Eagle prediction.
Whoa, okay. So on the boys,
Here we go. Now keep
yeah.
in mind he's a commentator, also a
Listen,
parent.
I got to
So,
get playing,
here we
and
go.
I'm a Vilonia alumni, but I
5th
don't
generation. Vilonia.
fully wear the rose-colored eagle glasses all the time. I am a realist, okay? So, boys, if you're listening, you see this, Coach here is going to put it in the locker room. Prove me wrong. All right, so number
we hope he
1,
does.
Little Rock
Strong,
Christian,
strong.
defending state champs. You've got to go with defending state champs till they get beat. Then in second, and this could be Vilonia, but it's not in mine. I've got Maumelle. Maumell's got a lot coming back. They did lose some, but they usually reload. I think they're going to be pretty good. Vilonia right there with them at number 3. Again, that could be flip-flopped in my opinion. I've got Greenbrier coming in at number 4. They're going to be pretty decent, but you never rule out, I put them right at number 5, but Catholic, man. Any night they can come in and beat you. Doesn't matter how good you are or, they lose a lot of close games, but it's always a battle with Catholic. And then after that, it was hard for me. I think Sylvan's probably going to be more of the 6 instead of Parkview, but 6 and 7, Sylvan and Parkview, and then Jacksonville, and then BB rounding it up.
And I know Jacksonville lost quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I also look, they have a lot of
Yeah,
size.
they have a
it's
lot of
hard to
size.
pick when you get down in that
I think
bottom half.
it's
but
a toss-up. A lot of those 4 through 6, 7, those are
Yeah.
tough. I can see coaches squirming.
I think there's
They
a
don't
lot of
wanna talk about it.
there's a lot of parity in the league there. I think
Yeah.
when you get around from 3 to 9, there's more parity on the boys'
Yeah.
side.
So-
Chad, is Sam done? I'll turn my headphones back.
He's
yes.
about to hand you that so you can go put it
He
in the locker
definitely,
room.
Yeah.
he's definitely done. He's definitely done. He just
There you
canceled
go,
himself because
Coach.
not only did he pick Eagles at
Oh,
3,
yeah.
Greenbrier, who's new to 5A West, he's got them
What
in
a
the top
great
4.
rivalry, 3 and 4.
I mean,
boom,
you got
boom.
Catholic, Parkview, Sylvan, and he picks Greenbrier.
I'm
at
telling
4,
you.
so
Prove me
I
wrong,
think,
boys.
I
Prove
think
me
he's
wrong.
been married to a Greenbrier Panther for too long.
I have. That's a whole other story.
That's all the time we have here tonight. Make sure that you come and join us and watch Eagle Vision basketball this season. It's going to be great. Eagles and Lady Eagles both stacked. We're excited to get going. Again, let me remind everyone those first games. The first game on Eagle Vision for the boys will be November the 12th, Lakeside at Lakeside against the Rams, and then the girls on November the 14th against Springdale Harbor in the first round of the Conway tournament. Make sure you join us for them. And again, a big thank you to all of our great sponsors for this season. For Sam Jansky, Austin Wader, Connor Hudgens, I'm Chad Hearn. Good night, everyone.